Music
Every
gets you
time.
dancing. Every time. Gets you
Every time.
dancing. That's what we
I
do.
God, that hurt my neck. You know where I can find a good chiropractor anywhere?
I know. I mean, look, hey, absolutely. We had to bring the doctor in for you tonight, Doc. After last night, I had to request a doctor.
Yes, I got you.
At least somebody does. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. So how are you doing tonight, Dr. Erika Bush?
I am doing really good. Thank you for asking. How about you guys?
Well, we are so excited that you're here and that you're going to be a part of this show tonight. And we are here, everyone, to introduce the newest community inside of Convene. And it's one that I am extremely excited about. We're going to get to what that is here in just a little bit. But before we can get there, we have to introduce you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and who you are.
Well, yes. Well, first of all, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm so just overjoyed to be a part of the Convene community. So thank you. So again, my name is Dr. Erika. I am a mother of 4 amazing children. I am a chiropractor. I'm a wellness coach. I'm an author, and I'm an Air Force veteran. And so I am again excited to be a part of Convene because I just have this purpose for special needs families. My youngest daughter is 7 years old, and she has cerebral palsy. And so my journey has been, I like to call it beautiful chaos. And she's inspired me to do a lot of good things for the special needs community. So I am excited about Chosen Hearts, which is the new community on Convene, because it's a safe place for special needs parents. And we definitely need a dedicated safe space that we can collaborate, communicate, and inspire and encourage each other. The Hearts for Chosen Hearts is for health and healing, empowerment, advocacy, resilience, and to thrive in a supportive environment. So that's what we want to do. We want to thrive. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. That is perfect. I want to go back in time a little bit because we had a call and when we first met and we started going over, hey, just what is the strategy for Chosen Hearts and all that? You know, one of the first questions I ask you is, you know, what's your why? How did you get started? And what were you thinking about in the process? And you know, it wasn't always about creating a community. It wasn't always about that. You mentioned something about how you wrote a white paper and kind of came up with a business thought process as a chiropractor to build gyms. And so
Yes.
talk a little bit about how you wrote this white paper. And this was before you had your daughter.
Yes, absolutely. So this was before I had my daughter. This was actually before I became a chiropractor. I was always in the wellness community. I was a certified personal trainer in the past. And like I said, I have 4 children. So my older children, I was kind of frustrated because I couldn't find a place for them to go work out. You know, I could take them to the YMCA, I could take them to different places, but they did not have equipment for them. And so I wanted a place where my kids could learn about wellness and just, you know, working out and have this, you know, really supportive and inclusive environment. And I had, you know, at that time I said, well, you know, it would be interesting if we could just, you know, add in some things for kids who, you know, need to work on their fine motor skills and just other things. You know, what about the special needs community? What can I do for those children? You know, what can I do to bring a very inclusive, safe place for children to be able to work out? So I built this business plan with, you know, self-esteem, to build self-esteem, to just work on personal wellness, and also to give parents just a little bit of respite at that time. They knew that their kids would be in a safe space and they would be able to relax and just have a moment for themselves. So I built that paper. I built that business plan over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then life
and
happened.
3 years later, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I went through my journey because my older daughter, she had a lot of health conditions. And so I kind of got I got frustrated with the traditional medical model.
Mhm.
So I began to learn about holistic health. I began to learn about alternative therapies and different things like that. So the first time I had saw even chiropractic care was for my oldest daughter. And then I
Okay.
start to see her going through this amazing healing process. And I was like, wait, what is this? This is powerful. And so that's how I transitioned into chiropractic. I'm like, you know what? I'm up all night. I'm pulling all nighters. I'm doing all this research trying to, get my daughter well. I might as well go back to school. And I
Yeah.
did. And so then I go back to school. I become a chiropractor. And then a year later, I have a daughter who's 29 weeks premature, who spent quite a bit of time in the NICU, and then 2 years later found out that she had cerebral palsy. So full circle now.
Yeah. Full circle.
Full circle now, back to that plan. And I'm like, wow, the timing is everything. And so the population that I wanted to serve 10 years ago, now it's like, wow, now I really feel it. Now I really understand,
Absolutely.
because I got thrust into the special needs parenting world. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
so that's how it all started.
So, yeah, that's just amazing. And so you're I say two-time author, but three-time author. Really, got three different books out there. Let's start with talking a little bit about it because it also leads into the name of the community
Yes.
of
Don't ask
Chosen Heart.
Matt to read any of them.
I'm a Marine. I don't know how to read. Okay, now you're being smart.
Just saying.
uh, um, so Chosen Hearts, you
Yes.
know, and why Chosen Hearts? Why was that so important to you? Because again, it's an amazing story. We've had the conversation, but I think it's great to hear you talk about it.
Well, chosen hearts, because when I was thrust into the special needs parenting world, it kind of came as not necessarily a surprise, but being that my daughter was born as a preemie, once she was discharged from the NICU, they told me that, she would have, of course, developmental delays. And I expected that. And we did the work and we started doing the therapies and we started to do all the things. However, in my gut, my intuition, I'm like, something's not right. This is not right. And so after going to a different specialist and just, really trying to research and do, you know, investigate and see what's going on with my daughter, the specialist that I finally got into told me, she said, no, she has cerebral palsy. She does have cerebral palsy. And so, and that's after being told by a neurologist that she didn't have cerebral palsy or anything like that. So I went through these feelings of guilt. I went through feelings of fear, sadness, isolation, grief. I went through all of these feelings, uncertainty. I didn't know what her future would look like, just all of these things. And it just hit me at one time. And I didn't allow myself to process my emotions. I just kept going. I had to do the work. Okay, what therapist do we need to go to? What specialist do we need to go to? What interventions do we need? And I just hit the ground running. All the while, I'm suffering because I haven't processed any of these emotions. And before I knew it, I had experienced caregiver burnout. I was going via ambulance to the hospital, blood pressure shot up to 200 over like 180. And I was having a major panic attack and just all of these things. And so I didn't allow myself to process any of those emotions. I didn't show myself the grace that I needed. And I didn't slow down and I wasn't taking care of myself. So not only was I not taking care of myself, I still had other children to take care of. And so I created Chosen Hearts because I had to learn to be intentional about my personal well-being. My personal well-being had to become a priority to me because I had to realize I'm the most important person in my children's life. And if I'm not taking care of me, how can I take care of them? So
Yeah.
I had to do the work. I had to be intentional. I had to start asking for help. I had to seek out respite care. I had to build a supportive community around me because although I had support from family and friends, nobody in my circle had a child with special needs. So nobody understood what I was going through.
Yeah.
And so creating Chosen Hearts was a way for me to put my thoughts and feelings on paper. in a guided format where parents can process their emotions, where they can celebrate the wins, the big wins and the small wins, where they can, stop and just be in the moment, where they can honor their journey. And so that's why I created Chosen Hearts, because one thing that I've learned through being intentional about my personal well-being as a special needs parent, I journal. That's something that I must do. That's a part of my routine, is to journal. And so I thought that it would be really good to create a journal for other parents to be able to do the same thing, to be able to process their feelings, their thoughts and emotions, and to celebrate. And to celebrate the wins, and to celebrate their children, and to celebrate that they are chosen. They are chosen, and so that's why I created it.
Yeah. And so you've done it in 2 ways. You've done it for moms and you've done
Yes.
it for dads. So talk a
Yes.
little bit about that.
Yeah, so initially I created it for moms, of course, because I'm a mom. And then I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? Our dads sometimes they don't get they don't get that love. They don't get the support that they need. They're right there in the midst of everything, And so I'm like, you know what? I need to create something for the dads. I need them to stop and process all of these things too. I need them to celebrate their wins as fathers and how they're navigating this special needs journey, because it's very unique. It's very challenging. And so I felt like being able to do that for both the moms and the dads would be really good, because we need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My kids are looking for a support community for children with special needs parents. Maybe we can help them out.
Yeah. Maybe maybe you need to write that book for kids too. Now, Chosen Heart kids version for, kids with Doc as their parent.
Yes, I think
You
that would
might
be.
only sell one copy, but I mean,
Well, they
maybe
are my
2.
kids, so they'll probably buy it over and over again.
That's a good idea, Doc. I
Yeah,
like it.
I think that's
Probably
great.
you should probably get a lot of sales out of that. There's a lot of kids that are going, I need this we're chosen hearts. God put us in, the stomach of this woman and this
Yes,
man,
yes,
and I didn't
yes.
have a choice in the matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love
Yeah.
it. I
So
love it.
inside the book, you break it down into chapters and all that. So talk a little bit about the topics and all that. And then we're going to talk just to foreshadow a little bit. We're going to talk about how you're going to later on. We're going to talk about how you're going to translate the book inside of Convene in some different ways and stuff like that. But what do you
Sure.
do in the books and the Chosen Hearts books?
So in the books, they have their prompts, and they have daily affirmations. I want my parents to get in the habit of affirming every day and having positive affirmations and starting their day that way, and reminding themselves about how amazing they are as parents. I wanted to change the narrative of how we think about special needs parenting, because most of us are in survival mode. And so I was like, how can I switch that mindset from surviving to thriving? So
Yeah.
instead of saying, why us, why me, let's change it to why not? Why not me? Why not us? And
Yeah.
so one way to shift that mindset is to, make sure that we're affirming ourselves as parents, and also having those prompts in the journal. So each day there's a guided prompt that stops and has the parent to reflect. And it may just ask, what is one of your favorite quotes or scriptures that have gotten you through a tough or challenging time? And to elaborate on that, to stop and take a moment to elaborate on that. One
Yeah.
may be, how have you grown as a parent? How have you grown as a mom or a dad through this journey? And what's one thing you're proud of yourself for? Another prompt would be, what did you do for yourself to prioritize your well-being today?
Yeah.
And why is that important? Because you have to stop and process it. We're constantly going, we're constantly moving, we're constantly in between therapies, interventions, doctor's appointments, school. I mean, it doesn't stop. So
Mhm.
that's a way for a parent to stop and pause and just celebrate the day. And
Yeah.
so those are some of the prompts that are in the journal. It also about your support system, reminding parents how important it is to develop that support system. If you don't have one, you got to be intentional about getting one.
Yeah. For sure.
you know, and it's okay that you may not have the support from your close family and friends. It is okay, but you need to be intentional about seeking out the support for people who can understand and relate to what you're going through. So those are some of the prompts that's in a journal, just to help parents stop and process those things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, but to do it in a way that we're affirming ourselves and, you know, empowering ourselves to keep going and navigating the journey.
Yeah. Well, and what's cool about that is, again, bringing some of that into Convene, because everybody knows I'm all about a book review and a book club and just the chapters is that's what
Just not
Convene is.
reading them.
I don't read. I mean, in fact, is this an audiobook? Can you make it an audiobook at least for me, or can I call you and you read it to me? I mean, now we got it. Story time for Matt. Uh, um, that's not nice, Doc.
I know, man. All I asked was for a friend to read a book. That's all I
The
asked.
Doc's an author too, and he asked me to read the book, and I didn't read it because I'm like, I don't read books. And I
Oh,
listened to him.
you got to
I'm
read
going
the
to. I'm going to read
Not
the
that
book.
I'm bitter.
Yeah, I'm going to read
I
the book.
am, but that's besides the point.
Um, no, I think it's cool because here's one of the things you and I've talked about in the last couple of weeks is that, one of the things that you're going to be able to do with inside of building this community, like you said in the when you introduced it, is it's a community of support. And a lot of times we think we're walking alone, and whatever it is that we're walking alone, I think possibly, like you said, you had a support network, but none of them had a special needs kid. So you were getting support, but you weren't getting support from other parents that have a special needs kids who are going through it. And so you probably felt like you were walking this journey alone.
Yes.
And that's what this community is going to be able to do. So when you put these questions that are in this book and people come in and answer them, you're going to be like, oh, I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's going to be
Absolutely.
It's gonna be powerful. It's gonna be really, really good. I mean, I personally think it's gonna be bigger than you even know. I really
Mhm.
do. I think this community is gonna be just one of the best that we possibly could ever have inside of Convene. So,
Wow.
I mean,
Mhm.
if you see Convene a platform with a purpose, your purpose that you have with Chosen Hearts it's perfect. It's what what I love and dream about. So, which is
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So one of
Yes.
the things we talked about too is that you got your mom, you got your dad,
Yes.
but they have to find support for each other, you
Yes.
know, and that becomes important as well.
It does.
So talk about that a little bit.
Finding support for each other. So that's what I mean in terms of like empowering our parents to be intentional about taking care of themselves. But in that, you know, in the special needs parenting world, it's not only easy to forget about yourself, you forget about maybe your spouse or other children in the home because the family feels it. The family
Yeah.
feels all of the juggling. And so there's a high divorce rate in special needs parenting. There's a lot of dynamics in there. So it's important that mom and dad come together and have that time for each other. So, you know, it's important to push things like respite care or, you know, seeking out like, you know, the drop-off services for like the churches. You know, there are organizations that have parents night out and that do have the capacity to take care of special needs children. And so, but you know, you have to be intentional about finding those resources. I didn't know
Mhm.
anything about those things in the beginning. And so, you know, I felt like my teenager, so since I'm not married, I'm a single mom, you know, but my teenager struggled. And so like I started to use respite care to make sure that I was taking time to take him out to do
Yeah.
those things. And that's the same thing you have to do with mom and dad. You still have to date each other. You still gotta connect because there's so much going on between the doctor's appointments, the therapies, and everything else that sometimes those relationships really do suffer.
Yeah. And that's hard. That's
And
really hard.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And so that's also some prompts that's in that journal as well. What are we doing outside of this? Have we taken time to make sure that we're spending time with the rest of the family as well? Are we taking individual time out to have those date nights or, you know, things like that to make sure that the other, you know, that everybody else in the house feels the love and that, you know, those relationships are still growing. And that's
Yeah.
really important. But it's difficult in the special needs parenting. It's very difficult.
Yeah. So this community is going to be able to offer advice, support,
Yes,
and all that for that. We'll
absolutely.
get back to the community. Let's talk about the other book.
Yes.
So, and the story behind that, because this is great also as well.
Yes. So the other book is called The Amazing Things I Can Do. And that book was birthed from a conversation with my little one, with my daughter Bella. She was about 4.5 at the time, and she came in my room and she stopped and she looked at me and she said, Mom, she said, when I grow up like you, I just want to be a big girl. I want to walk like you. And she looked at me and she burst into tears. And that was the first time I believe she realized that, hey, I'm doing some things that's different from everybody else. And
Mhm.
so I grabbed her and I hugged her and we cried together. And after we dried up, the tears dried up a little bit, I began to console her and I let her know, hey, you're already a big girl. So let's talk about all the amazing things that you can do. And so that book is birthed from that conversation. I wanted to encourage and empower her to let her know that, hey, your smile lights up the room when you walk in. You're so artistic, and look at your paintings. And you're always in the kitchen with me baking and cooking and doing all these beautiful things. And then when you get on your horse for therapy, girl, look at you go. And look how strong you are when you get on your horse. And look at all these amazing things when you go to school like a big girl and you're doing your work in school and all of these things. And I told her, through our conversation in that book, while we pray on these things that you desire, what we're going to do, we're going to give that to God. And then we're going to focus on the things we can do. And
Yeah.
you have so many strengths and all these gifts, talents, and abilities. That's what we're going to focus on. And we're going to
Yeah.
let God handle the rest. And so I wanted to empower her through that. And so from that, I want to empower other children. I want them to know that they're amazing. Just because we do things we all do things differently, right? That's what makes
Doc.
Doc. That's what makes Doc, right? Just we all right, right, exactly. That's what makes
Yeah.
him. What makes Doc.
Yeah.
Yes.
Goose.
Oh, that was good.
Yes. That's so funny.
I don't care if you're laughing at me or near me, as long as you're laughing.
That's good. Okay, good.
Oh,
But yeah, so through that book, I wanted to teach her. I'm teaching my daughter to dance to her own beat.
yeah.
Period. You dance to your own beat. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. You're gonna dance to your own beat, and your dance is just as beautiful as everyone else's. And so that's what that book is, to teach children. You dance to your own beat. You're beautiful how you are, and you have unique talents, gifts, and abilities that you offer the world, and you're just beautiful the way you are. So
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that to me is so cool that you wrote a book for your daughter, you know. I mean, that's just special. That is really, really cool, you know.
thank you, thank
Yeah.
Yes,
you.
thank you for making me feel even more inferior now. Thank you, doctor.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry, Doc. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll just
Yeah.
man up.
That's
Yes,
it. Man up.
that's right.
Man up,
That's
write a
it.
book. You need to
That's
write a
it.
book. Oh, you already did write a book.
Yeah.
That's
Wrote
what
a
we
book
call a
about your
callback in the business.
So, yeah. So I think it's pretty cool because listen, you needed, and that's where if you go back and you relate the two books, the two types of books, the two books together, The Chosen Hearts and then the book that you wrote about your daughter, that's where you have to be the support network for your child.
Yes.
And you have to have your cup full, and you have to be taking care of yourself to be able to provide that emotional um, stability for your child.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And had I not gone through all of those things, like, we have to turn our pain into a purpose. And so that was a lot of pain. That was a lot of things that we went through, but it had a purpose. And so, just going through this journey, it's just been very inspiring, but it taught me the importance of prioritizing my well-being, because again, I am the most important person in my child's and my children's lives.
Yeah.
So I have to take care of myself to help prevent burnout, and I have to take care of myself so that I have the capacity to be the caregiver that I am.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
who I feel sorry for? The people that have never gone through any struggles.
Mm.
They don't, the struggles that we go through are what builds our character. It makes us who we are. And so to me, it's almost as if the people that have not struggled don't have any character.
Mm.
Not saying that they don't. I'm just, we need these struggles. And there's a reason that God chose people like you, Erica, to go through this, because he knows you can handle
Yeah.
it and you're the
Absolutely.
right person for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, I love it when when I got the first tagline of Convene about real life, real people, real experiences, and Eric, I'll say that to you because I like asking people this question, but it really it's pointed to somebody like you. So if I ask you the question to you personally, Erica, what does real life, real people, real experiences mean to you?
That means come in unapologetically being you, authentically being you, and all of the beautiful chaos, because it's all beautiful chaos. So to come in to own it, to be able to own those experiences that you've had, and to be just be honest, because when you talk about real people, real experiences, we we grow from being real. We grow from being authentic. If we come in and we're not being real, we can't grow. How do we flourish? And how can we help other people if we're not being our authentic selves? We all have a
Mhm.
story, whether we want to talk about it or not. But when we share in those experiences, we help people. We impact people in such a major way when we can come in and be real about those experiences that we have.
Mhm.
So, like it, keep it real, right? So when we keep it real, we can flourish and we can grow and we can thrive together.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. So let's talk about growing and let's talk about thriving together because I think, um, how did you get here? You came here through Jody Watkins. So Jody, so thankful that you've brought Erica to Convene. And that's what it is. We all have these experiences and these stories. And so you have to recognize, the gifts that we all have. And Jody recognized, this gift in you. And I truly believe that. And she, when she hit me up and she's like, I got the most amazing person you have to meet. And she set up the call and everything. It's just great. Did you see it in yourself? Because you had classes, you have a lot of classes. We haven't even talked about that yet, but you have a lot of classes that you have taught, want to teach, want to grow. Uh, but do you ever think about growing something as big as this community is going to be? I'm telling you, this is going to be massive. I promise you.
Honestly, I didn't think about that until having a couple conversations with you. And let me backtrack. Yes, Jody Watkins is amazing, and I would never have found Convene without that beautiful soul. So I just wanted to say that. But no, I don't think I would have thought so big before meeting with you and before, being introduced to Convene. I don't think so. But now I see the potential of how much it can impact so many people. Far bigger than what I ever thought, and it's way bigger than me. And
Yeah.
so I just absolutely love the idea of how big this can be and how many people it can impact and how many people's lives can be just transformed.
Yeah. So we had our first conversation, and in our first conversation, I broke out a whiteboard and we kind of just wrote it down. And I talked to you about on the whiteboard. I make these little yellow stickies and I say, well, tell me your thoughts, tell me your mission, tell me what you want to do, what you want to grow. And we've kind of talked a lot about all of that tonight. But
Yeah.
you did something between our first meeting and our second meeting that really opened your eyes, and you wrote some power statements and you put them out to the universe. And so
Yeah.
talk about these power statements and talk about how this really just made you go, "Oh, Matt's
Yeah.
right."
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I stepped outside of my comfort zone. And I went into some groups, some special needs parenting groups, really on Facebook. And so I posed a question and I said, which one of these power statements resonate with you the most? And because I have some things on the horizon with some workshops and things like that, and I just want to get some insights and feedback and everything like that. So I shut my computer down because I'm like, okay, maybe one or two people might post. I'm not, I don't know how this is going to go because again, this is something I had never done before. So, I put out one power statement that says special needs parents who prioritize their wellness, bolster their capacity for caregiving, and preventing burnout and enhancing family well-being. And I checked my Facebook a few hours later and I was like, oh my goodness. There was so many comments and so much feedback that I was completely overwhelmed. The outpour of, hey, when is this happening? When is there a workshop? What can we do to get involved? This is so needed. I'm a burnt out autism mom. I'm a burnt out cerebral palsy mom. I'm a burnt out Down syndrome mom. I'm struggling. I'm having all these kind of challenges and I don't prioritize my wellness. I mean, I was in tears because the feedback was so overwhelming and I did not expect it. So between that first conversation of you saying, this could be big, this is bigger than you, and going to that second conversation with you, I was like, I am so overwhelmed. This is beautiful. Like, this is bigger than me. There's people who really need the support. They need a community where they feel safe. They need a community where they can just be their authentic, real selves and share their experiences and share their stories. There's parents that are just isolated. And I know what that feels like. They're going through those emotions that I went through, that whole process of guilt and grief and all those stages, and they are at their wits' end and they feel like nobody understands. And so it was amazing, the outpour, the comments, the feedback, because I recognize how big this really is.
Yeah, you told me you had about around 200 comments.
I had probably about 250 comments. And I didn't go, and I was just going into a few groups. I didn't go into all the groups. I just, I was like, let me test this out a little bit. And then, like I said, I just assumed, I said, I might get a comment or two. And when I opened up that computer, I was like, oh my goodness, this is real. This is way bigger than me. This is way bigger than me. And I did not realize that until I posed that question. And then I said, yeah, and then Matt's right.
I mean, he is most of the time. No, no, but it is. It's huge. I mean, again, it's what you're talking about, a platform with a purpose. You're talking about bringing people together. You're talking about everyone has a story.
Yes.
All these moms and dads have a story,
Yes.
and so at the time we were calling this Erika's group or Erika's community. We didn't have the name. We didn't go to the name yet. We hadn't even said the name of what we were going to call it. And then it was after that conversation that we're like, okay,
Yeah,
all those comments, all those people are chosen hearts.
they are. Yeah.
That's the one common denominator that I've found for members of Convene is that everyone that I've met and come in contact with through Convene, none of this is about us. Everyone is here to serve a purpose for the greater good. And that's pretty damn amazing if you ask me.
Yeah, It's what sets us apart. It truly is what sets us apart. It's people like you, Erica, who have a higher purpose. I mean, you do. You have a higher purpose, and that's where God has placed you is to serve out this higher purpose, to be a leader, and that's what you're doing. You're a leader in this community that you're going to be able to create because, again, you see the need and you've gone through it. It's like Brenda Warren says, we're servant leaders. I mean, that's really what we're here to be.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing, and you've started the process, but now we're giving you the way and bring it together. It's not us. Convene's just a resource, right? You're
Yes.
the leader. You're the one who has all these classes already built, already ready to go, already. Now it's just about bringing people together, but it's more than that. And this is what we're talking about. It's more than that because you're here and talking about one area, but there's so many amazing people
Yes.
that do so many amazing things. These moms, these dads, these groups. Can we bring them together in this one resource to really grow this community to help people out,
Yes.
with everything that they need? So what are
Absolutely.
you looking for? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for anybody that has a heart for special needs families. So that can be from, for instance, when I did that and went into those groups, I had principals reach out to me principals of special needs schools. I had a pediatric occupational therapist reach out to me and say, how can I get involved? I've had mental health therapists that deal primarily with children with special needs reach out to me. So that was beautiful because these people just wanted to be a part of something big and to empower these special needs families. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to collaborate with not just moms and dads who have these experiences, but also professionals who have a heart to serve, who have a heart for special needs parents and families, and just to empower them to thrive. Again, that's the word for me. To get out of the survival mode that most of us are in or still in, have been in or still in, and to just thrive.
Yeah, that's so cool. It really is. It's just that's why I love it. I absolutely love what you're going to do. Talk about real quick, just to give people some examples. What are some of the what are some classes that you've created that we're going to be bringing into Convene to help people out?
So again, with special needs parents and families, there's a lot of unique challenges that are faced, and so I wanted to make sure that some of the classes definitely dealt with those unique challenges. So when we talk about nutrition, we talk about exercise, we talk about mindfulness and those things, but I wanted to make sure that it's practical for my families. I want my families to know that it's okay that their wellness routine doesn't look like somebody else's. I want them to know that it's okay, So if that means that, like for me, my jump rope and my weights are always in my vehicle, because I know that once I get in my vehicle, I'm not coming back till late that day. So how can I make sure that I am prioritizing my wellness that day? So when I drop my daughter off at therapy and she goes to her therapist, I'm outside jumping rope.
Well, let's give an example. The horse therapy, because you've told me. How close is horse therapy to your house?
Did you know that Erica and I have something in common?
What's that?
I have rope and weights in my vehicle too.
You do?
I do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Not jump rope. There might be some duct tape in there too.
Oh my God.
Probably a shovel.
Oh,
pretty sure there's a shovel.
We gotta watch you, Doc. Okay,
we're going to bring him into we need a community for Doc.
Yes.
You mean communities?
Yeah.
We need an intervention. Somebody.
Yeah. But so intervention right now.
Right. We just need an intervention.
But you drive an hour
yes.
or more to get to the horse therapy. And how long are you there?
We're there about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So that could be your time.
That's my time. And before really prioritizing my wellness, I would just sit in my vehicle. I would be on the phone with the insurance company, the doctors for referrals. I would be doing all these things while she was in there, doing her therapy. And that was burning me out too, because that was an opportunity for me. She was fine. She was in good hands,
Yeah.
and that was an opportunity for me to take care of myself. So that's when I said, you know what, we got to change this. We got to change this up. So I use that opportunity for mindfulness. I use that opportunity to, hey, let me go ahead and walk. It's nice big open ranch, let me walk, let me use my weights, let me jump rope. What can I do in this time to pour into myself so that when she's done with therapy and we got to drive this hour back, that I'm full, my cup is full, my cup has to be full, because now I got to deal with my little one, and so my cup wasn't full when I was on the phone with the insurance company doing all that at that time, instead of taking time to pour into myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I say that to say, some of the classes are practical things. What practical exercises can we do while our children are at therapy, or involved in an intervention or anything like? What can we do to pour into ourselves? We don't have to go to the gym for an hour. What can we do now? We don't have to wait we don't have to say when this happens. No, this can happen now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really cool.
You always have time to breathe.
Well, that's a must.
Well, I say that only partly
Seriously.
in jest.
Yeah.
The breathing exercises you can do anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
And it's proven to help reduce some of that anxiety and some of that stress.
Yes, absolutely. And that's important. And like you said, taking that time, that 5-10 minutes a day to journal, that 5-10 minutes a day to do some breath work. That and knowing that even with exercise, I don't have to go do 60 minutes. I can do intervals. Can I do 15 minutes here? Then what can I do later on in the day to get another 15-minute interval? It doesn't have to look like what we see on social media. It doesn't have to look like what the next person is doing. You got to run your own race and honor your own individual wellness journey, and that's okay. That it doesn't look like everybody else's.
Yeah, that's very true.
When I was teaching martial arts, I always had the students, upset at promotion time that they didn't get promoted or whatever the case may be. And I told them all the time, listen, you cannot compare yourself to Johnny, Joe, Mary, whatever. You have to compare yourself to you. Are you better today than you were yesterday? And if the answer is yes, you are on the right track for you.
Absolutely.
Very true. It's very true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, prioritizing yourself becomes so important, and there's so many people. There's times I haven't. I've been sitting in this chair working, not getting up, and trying to do a lot better than that. After this hip replacement and get things going back. But yeah, so what you're teaching and what you're talking about, for people, it's across the board. For a lot of people,
That's
a lot
true.
of people.
That's true.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's going to be good. So we need people. We need people to come in. Key things about the community are discussion boards, right? If you're somebody who knows somebody that needs that support, is really come in and be a part of it. Put something in the discussion board. If you have a question, a comment, or you need support, you can do it as yourself or do it anonymously, and that's key. And you're going to get Dr. Erika Bush collaborating with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Brenda said she purchased a standing desk, and just something as simple as that is so important.
Yeah,
so huge. It's so important.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Brenda's talked to me about that. The standing desk, and then my daughter at medical school is talking about her and her roommates, because they're studying and studying and studying, and get bogged down. But they're talking about getting one of the treadmills that you can put at your desk. And I know Brenda's talked about that as well. Just stuff like that. Take a class. When they're on one of their classes, because they have to watch so many classes and all that. Just standing there exercising.
Right.
Prioritizing yourself.
Prioritizing yourself. It doesn't have to look like what everybody else is doing. It could be just as simple as that.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, the vision is big. The vision is big. And the vision is really, really exciting about where you're at, where you're going. We want the help. So let's talk a little bit real quick about, how can people reach out to you? How can people get in touch with you? The community doc, if you don't mind putting the community in there, we want people to come join the community.
Yes.
Here it is. Chosen Hearts, and Doc will put the link in there, share the link out too for the community. There it is in the QR code. You can click on that, Chosen Hearts, and join the community. If you're already a member of Convene, I don't know why you're not already in there and a member of Chosen Hearts. It's been live for about 3 hours now.
Man up.
That's it.
Man up.
Yeah. If you don't mind, Doc, scroll up and it'll show the community. This is explaining. Go watch this video. Erika does a wonderful job about explaining what Chosen Hearts is all about. I think it's good. And then, here's her Chosen Hearts books for moms and dads. And then you can see the Chosen Hearts, our daughter book, really cool. Real cool. What else you want to add about this community? We're filling it out. We have some discussion boards in there already. Go in there and collaborate in the discussion boards. And then you have written blogs for people.
Yes.
So there's a couple of blogs already in there.
Yep. There's definitely some blogs in there. Blogs on self-care and just my experience as a special needs mom. And so, so we're going to add some more blogs, and I'd love to communicate and collaborate on these discussion boards, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. You don't have to do it yourself either. One of the things that we have really talked about, Eric and I have really talked about, is creating this. I encourage all community leaders to do this, is create a collaboration group, because you said it a minute ago, and you're so right. This is not just about Dr. Erika Bush. This is not just Dr. Erika Bush's community. And so there's going to be a group in there, a collaboration group, and it's not my community, it's our community, And so that is so important for people to understand. When you come into this community, you are just as important as Erika. Yeah. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And you do too. I know you do too. So if you want to second that, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not about me. It's about us. It's about us. It's about us. That's how we flourish when we grow together.
There are no whiffums in convenient communities.
There
you
is
know what a whiffum is?
I do. You know what a whiffum is, Erika?
What's a whiffum?
Yeah. Well, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
That's right. That's it.
So true. That's so true.
It's what's in it for us. Does anybody watching have any questions that they want to ask as we get close to wrapping up here? Because this is going to be great. Looking forward. We're working on your group now. That's our next assignment.
Yes.
Which we're working on groups, and the groups will have a lot of different parts to them. So talk a little bit about your groups that you're building.
Yes. So I'm going to do the Chosen Hearts group, but I'm going to subdivide it between the moms and the dads as well, because I think that's important. I think to have the main, but to subgroup it, to have both the moms and the dads, and have them have their own kind of individual thing going on. I think that's really important, because like we discussed earlier, even though it's important for families to make sure that they're staying in communication and growing their relationships, the mom needs her individual thing and the dad needs his individual thing too, and to be supported in that area. So, and then I'm looking at doing, of course, the amazing things I can do as well, just to support the children, to support them and their wellness and their nutrition and their exercise and things like that as well. So that's where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, not for nothing, but that next book you write about the special needs parents, I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm only gonna take a 10% cut.
That's it. That's all you're gonna take.
Yeah, we're a community for everybody else. Hey, 10%.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take you up on that one.
Yeah, I still got to make my payments to the bookie. I mean, overhead.
Yeah.
Overhead.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I think, honestly, and we've talked about this, but it's a further down the road conversation, but a podcast, your own podcast, with Doc, I think is a must, because I think there's so many amazing people out there doing amazing things that you will never, ever have a shortage of people to interview.
No.
Never have a shortage. And I think that you really should consider doing that. I know Doc would love being a part of that,
Yes.
and helping you out with that. But I think a Chosen Hearts podcast, you don't know how big it would be. I
I
think
know
you,
a guy.
yeah, I know a guy that
I
could do
know a
it.
guy.
I know a guy that could
Okay.
help you. But I
Okay.
think that that podcast could be, it will blow up. I do. I
Mm,
think it will blow up. I think it'll be even bigger than the Convene podcast or bigger than Doc's podcast. I really do. Your topic is so important. It's just so important, you know. It's just exciting.
Won't be hard to be bigger than my podcast.
Yeah. Nothing's off the table, Doc.
Those
Nothing's off the
those
table.
the donation that you see that all those donations that I receive actually go to pay people to listen to my podcast and pretend to be my friends. So keep them coming, people.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of that donate button, Doc does this every night, multiple times. You know, he does so much for us. But if you feel like throwing a donation to Doc, it helps him run the podcast, helps him pay for everything that he's doing, the softwares and everything that he helps with. So yeah, hit that QR code, donate to Doc, and you're doing amazing things, Doc. I appreciate
Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Look, you got your own hashtag, Team Doc. And I have noticed, y'all can't see this. We can see the comments over here. I mean, we get all these comments about be nice to Doc. Have you seen these, Erica? Are you seeing these?
I've seen them. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen them.
Yeah. Be nice to Doc. All these there's never one about, oh, be nice to Matt. Help Matt. No, it's all about Doc. All about Doc. Now you got your own
I'm not a real smart person, but something tells me you should listen to them. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So great question here from Jody Watkins. What was your moment where you realized you were meant to create a safe space for others who can relate to what you've been through? And what gave you the strength to get to this point?
Once I went through all the feelings, again, the isolation, the guilt, the grief, going through that whole process and becoming intentional about shifting my mindset through that journey, that's when I realized I needed to do something to help others, because I recognized how isolated I felt and I didn't feel safe because so many people, even well-intentioned people around me, had no idea what I was going through. So I would say things like, I'm so tired. And they'd be like, well, take a nap. Okay. You gonna come over here? It's like, okay, but how am I supposed to do that? And so nobody, it would just be the brush off, like, oh, you'll be okay. Or, will she outgrow this? Well, it's a lifelong condition, so it got to the point where I just kind of shut down a little bit, because some of the people would say things to me, and I know a lot of the times it was well-intentioned and sometimes it probably wasn't, but I got to a point where I didn't want to talk about anything anymore. I didn't want to talk about my day, my schedule. I didn't want to talk about anything because nobody really understood what I was going through, and it was so isolating for me, and I just felt so alone. And so I knew once I started to prioritize my well-being that I had to create a safe space for other parents so that they could share those things and not get the brush off. Well, just take a nap, you'll be all right. Or just you'll be okay. It's okay. And so I don't want other parents to feel the way that I felt. I don't want that, because you go through depression, it's a lot. And without having the right people in your support system, it could be a slippery slope.
Well, let's be very clear on this. You're one of the most squared away people I've met in a long time. I really mean that. I do. I said, Doc, I've known you for years. You are the most squared. I said, let's be honest, you are. Got to show him some love every once in a while, Erica. Got to make him feel good.
Yes. Don't make me get my tissue again.
But here's the thing. You've written books. You've created courses. but the struggle's still real.
Oh yeah.
You go through it,
Yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's, this community is so important, not just for, you taking and building this community. It's important for you too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because there's healing in sharing the journey. There's healing in that. So as I share my journey, I get to heal too. And I get to help other people share their journey. So it's healing in all of it. It's healing in being real people, real experiences, right? Real talk. It's healing in that. It's healing and sharing those experiences that we have. So we know life's not linear. So, I'm still going through it, but I've just learned some things along the way that have helped me. So now that I can turn around and I can empower and help other people.
I love it.
Erika, you are a superwoman, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But even Superman has kryptonite. And the
Right.
only reason I bring that up is because we know what kryptonite is, right? So we know what we can do to avoid that and take care of ourselves. But
Yeah.
you are no doubt Superwoman.
Thank you.
If I had my hat, I'd take it off.
Thank
Doc,
you.
I love the way you just said that.
Thank
Man,
you.
that was strong, Doc.
Like it. Hey, let me throw another bonus at you.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's hear it.
The S on Superman's chest. Do you guys know what that stands for?
Erika.
Wrong. Most people assume it stands for Superman. It doesn't. It actually stands for hope in his native language.
Oh, wow. Did not know that.
That's deep.
There you
Hope.
go. There you go.
That's
Well,
deep.
you aren't there, but you will be at the next one at the Convene Real Talk, when we put you on stage and you talk and tell your story. But one of the things that we did is the theme of the last one is what's your superpower? And, so what's your superpower? That was key. And we did the logo, uh, the thing, it came forward in the video. It was tumbling and it was the Superman logo. And inside the Superman logo, it had the Convene, helix. We call it the helix. And so everybody says, well, what's the helix? Or people ask me, what's the helix? And if you look at it, it's greater than and less than. So greater than and less than, that's what it is. It's coming together. It's greater than and less than. And God put us here to help others out.
Yes.
God put us here to lift each other up, and some, you can look at greater than and less than in so many different ways. Sometimes people are strong and sometimes they're not. That's
Yes.
greater than and less than. And so how can we come together and lift each other up? And that's what this community is going to do. Brenda said, another great show. That's what I love about these, right? Doc, another great show. And I agree with it, and then she did say Matt and Erika, we were good too, but throw that in there. But these shows are great. She made us feel good. But the point is that this is great. What you're doing is wonderful. What you're doing is going to change lives. It's going to help so many people. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud that you're here and you're part of Convene. And so, Doc, I'll give you another word, and then we're going to let Erika close it out. So what do you got to say, Doc?
I love doing these shows because we have such an important message to put out, but we know how to have fun with it too.
Yeah.
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 And that's important. We got to have some of that levity in our lives. We can't always be serious because as Erika, you well know, you suffered from caregiver burnout. And
Yes.
we got to take that time. And all of us right now in this platform are guilty of not taking care of ourselves. I know
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Erika, you close us out, and then Doc will start the music.
Awesome. Well, again, I want to thank you guys. This was amazing. Again, I'm excited to be a part of the Convene community, this platform with a purpose. Timing is everything. I didn't know what platform I would be putting my content on and how I could collaborate. And then here you guys go. So this has been just a blessing. And I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to be a part of this collaboration, this beautiful community. And, you know, this is the place where we can turn our trials and testimony into a testimony, and our pain into a purpose. And I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Well, we're excited that you're here too, and excited at the big difference in this community. Everybody go join Chosen Hearts on Convene Communities. And yeah, connect with Erika, and let's make some great things happen. So thank you so much for being on. Doc, thank you again.
All I
And
can
we'll
say
see
to
you.
that is amen.
Amen.
Amen. See y'all next week. Good night,
Let's see
everybody.
you. Thank you, guys.
Good night.